It ain't no way. I look like this. Like, just chilling in my car. Like, I just look like this. Off the wake up. Like, no makeup. Just a little lash and lip gloss. And a little filter. And I'm single? It don't make sense. But it's okay. I'm crazy.
Rubi Rose is at it again. OnlyFans, wild posts, and telling men to lead with money. The internet is split. Some call her bold, others call it toxic. But here's the real question. When relationships and attention become transactional, who really wins? Shortcuts, clout, instant validation, it all comes at a cost. One viral moment, one statement, and suddenly the conversation is global. Is this Rubi being herself, or a reflection of a culture chasing quick fame and easy money? The buzz around Rubi Rose's latest antics is spiraling out of control. She's been making waves on OnlyFans with some pretty wild content, and naturally, it's drawn her into a few controversies. Most recently, Rubi Rose went viral yet again after sharing something that had everyone talking.
Like, do you want to have just like,
yeah.
You just want to,
Yeah.
well, okay, well, if you just want to, that's your intentions, lead with money.
Okay.
People have been roasting Rubi Rose lately, and honestly, many think it's justified. She recently claimed she's never lied, though it's hard to tell if she's even dropped new music lately. Some believe her. Others just see the ongoing drama as part of her storyline. For some people, this kind of lifestyle isn't just a phase, it's the real thing. To be fair, Rubi's been getting a lot of attention online. Even people commenting on how her looks have changed, saying she's getting thicker than cold grits. She went through her OnlyFans phase, and that's close enough for critics to start talking again. Some have accused women like her of gaslighting, saying many in their 30s still live like they're in their wild years. After her latest scandal broke, people remembered how Rubi had once blamed DDG for influencing her behavior online. Now, even white commentators are jumping into the conversation. For instance, conservative host Steven Crowder weighed in, emphasizing that she's on OnlyFans and claiming she makes around $400,000 in a slow month. Crowder used her example to argue that young women should think twice before sexualizing themselves for money, insisting that men prefer women who are more reserved. He said that modern society labels men as sexist for wanting that, yet they're simply expressing their preferences, and warned that rejecting those standards could leave women dying alone. Now, say what you want about Steven Crowder. He's a highly controversial figure, and plenty of people have good reasons not to like him. Still, it's easy to predict how some will respond to his take, accusing him of being a white guy attacking black women. And while he often comes across as racially insensitive, his commentary on Rubi Rose raises a deeper question. What do you think? Recently, Rubi Rose made headlines again after boldly telling someone, "If you just want to sleep with someone, lead with money." That one statement stirred up quite the reaction online, and honestly, it reflects a growing mindset among certain women today. It's not just about Rubi Rose as a celebrity. It's about a cultural shift where transactional relationships are becoming normalized, even glamorized. The idea of exchanging intimacy for financial gain has become part of mainstream conversation, and social media has only made it more visible. I've personally noticed this trend spreading beyond the West, especially across parts of Africa, in countries like Kenya, Uganda, and even Nigeria. Scroll through TikTok or Instagram and you'll see it. Young women flaunting luxury trips to Dubai, designer handbags, champagne brunches, and private jet selfies. The captions might talk about soft life or living your best life, but beneath the surface, many of these lifestyles are sustained by men with money. For a growing number of women, the formula seems simple: lead with money, live in comfort. However, when people try to call this behavior out or question it, the backlash comes instantly. If a white man comments on it, he's accused of racism. If a black man dares to criticize it, he's branded as misogynistic or accused of hating women. The entire conversation shifts away from accountability and turns into a battle of identity politics. It becomes less about behavior and more about who's allowed to speak. Then comes the next stage of the cycle. When men decide to opt out of dealing with women who behave this way, the narrative suddenly flips. You start hearing the same dismissive arguments. Oh, they must be broke, or they must be gay, or they can't handle real women. The conversation devolves into name-calling and shaming rather than addressing the real issue, a lack of accountability and the devaluation of genuine connection. Rubi Rose herself is a perfect example of this irony. She reportedly earns around $400,000 a month on OnlyFans, yet she still wonders publicly why men don't want to commit to her. It's a paradox, giving advice to men on how to attract women while simultaneously embodying the very behaviors that many men are consciously avoiding. She's built a lifestyle that thrives on attention, but attention doesn't equal affection, and it certainly doesn't equal respect. Podcasts like Fresh and Fit have tried to address this very issue. Their hosts are often labeled as misogynists for calling out certain dating patterns, but their critiques aren't aimed at all women. They're calling out a culture that rewards surface-level validation over substance. Unfortunately, the message often gets lost in outrage. The media spins it as an attack on women, when in reality, it's a critique of unhealthy social dynamics that hurt both men and women. At the end of the day, the conversation keeps looping in circles. People on both sides feel unheard. Women feel judged, and men feel blamed. But very few are willing to sit down and talk about the root problem. When relationships become transactional, they lose their depth. Love and loyalty can't survive when everything is built on money, power, and appearances. And it's not just an American issue anymore. The same mindset is spreading worldwide. Whether you're talking to men in the United States, Europe, or Africa, you'll hear the same complaints. White men, black men, Hispanic men, everyone's noticing similar patterns. Even here in Africa, I hear brothers say all the time, women in America aren't feminine anymore. I want to come where you are. It's different out here. And yes, while it might feel a bit different on the surface, the truth is that this mentality is global. Go to the Dominican Republic, Colombia, or South Africa. You'll see it there too. What it boils down to, more often than not, is sex for money. It's a shortcut. It's easy. But like most shortcuts in life, it doesn't lead to anything lasting. Shortcuts never create stability. Whether in work, love, or personal growth, taking the easy road usually means you end up going nowhere meaningful. It reminds me of what happens on YouTube. You see people chasing quick fame by doing the bare minimum, reaction videos, AI gimmicks, copying trends, expecting long-term success without putting in long-term effort. But in life, just like on YouTube, when you put in minimal effort, you get minimal results. The same principle applies to relationships. When a woman relies only on her looks, being sexy, attractive, and constantly turning heads, it might work for a while. It brings attention and followers, sure. But attention isn't the same as admiration, and it certainly isn't respect. That kind of validation is low effort and temporary. It doesn't require growth, intelligence, or emotional depth. Over time, that approach stops working because it keeps attracting the same type of men, shallow, temporary, and inconsistent. Eventually, the truth always comes to light. People can sense when you've taken shortcuts, whether it's in your career, your character, or your relationships. A life built on surface-level values will always crumble because it lacks foundation. Yet instead of reflecting inward, many people double down and start blaming others. It's easier to accuse men of being weak or toxic than to admit personal responsibility for bad choices. You see this pattern play out in real life all the time. Men get involved with women who avoid accountability, and those women often end up alone. The men they pushed away eventually grow, evolve, and find peace elsewhere. There's a firefighter I once heard about in the Bay Area, around Pittsburgh or Antioch. He was married to a woman from Oakland. They had what seemed like a perfect family, even a young daughter together. But one day, she decided she didn't want that life anymore. Despite his love, commitment, and ambition, he was in firefighter school, working hard to build their future. She started an affair with a man who didn't even have a job. Her husband pleaded with her to stay and rebuild, but she wasn't interested. Eventually, he walked away. That decision changed everything. He focused on himself. He finished school, advanced in his career, and completely rebuilt his life from the ground up. It wasn't easy. It never is. But through patience, discipline, and determination, he made it. Meanwhile, his ex's life went in the opposite direction. She stayed stuck in the same cycle, broke, bitter, and blaming him for her choices. It's a story as old as time, but one that still feels painfully relevant today. When you chase quick wins, easy money, or superficial validation, it always catches up to you. The same shortcut that feels thrilling in the moment eventually becomes the very thing that holds you back. And that's the irony in Rubi Rose's message. She tells men to lead with money, not realizing that mindset is exactly what's leading everyone in the wrong direction. Man with no job, no ambition, and no real plan for his life. Together they lived in a cramped apartment in West Oakland, barely scraping by. What had started as excitement soon became struggle, and the reality of her decisions set in. The glamorous rebellion she had imagined turned into a cycle of disappointment and instability. While she was spiraling, her ex-husband's life moved in the opposite direction. He completed firefighter school, landed a solid job, and eventually bought a new home. As his income grew, he met someone new, a woman who shared his values, believed in his dreams, and respected the effort it took to build something real. They married, started a family, and built a peaceful life together. Today, he earns a comfortable six-figure salary and lives with purpose, discipline, and gratitude for how far he has come. Yet, despite all this, his former wife still blames him for her situation. She insists he changed, that he gave up too soon, or that he never supported her. But the truth is simple. You can't help someone who refuses to take accountability. He tried to keep the marriage together, but she chose a different path. Choices have consequences, and this story shows exactly how those consequences unfold. Sadly, this isn't a rare story. It's a reflection of a pattern that repeats itself everywhere. It's about what happens when people chase temporary pleasure instead of long-term stability. When your identity and self-worth revolve around attention, validation, or fast money, the consequences always come back around. It's the same path we see with public figures like Rubi Rose, who build fame and fortune through short-term trends that rarely bring long-term happiness. Modern culture glorifies quick success and instant gratification. Social media makes it easy to look rich, confident, and desirable while ignoring the deeper cost. Platforms like OnlyFans or influencer culture can look glamorous, but they often trade authenticity for attention. You might earn admiration, but it's fleeting. You might make money, but it doesn't buy peace. And once the spotlight fades, the people who are cheering the loudest often disappear too. That's the real trap of the lead with money mindset. You can't tell men to lead with money and then wonder why that's the only thing they value in return. When you set that expectation, you create a transactional dynamic. And once the transaction ends, so does the relationship. You can buy affection for a moment, but you can't buy commitment. Real love doesn't operate on transactions. When your self-worth depends on what you can offer materially or how attractive you appear, you end up stuck in a cycle of emptiness. Looks fade, money fluctuates, and attention shifts. What lasts are the things people often overlook: integrity, kindness, loyalty, and emotional depth. Without those, no relationship can truly thrive. Men fall into this trap too. Many chase quick wealth, fame, or validation, hoping it will bring them fulfillment. But shortcuts rarely lead to success. Whether it's a career built on trends or relationships built on convenience, the outcome is always the same: you get temporary results that eventually fade. The firefighter's story proves that the harder road often leads to lasting peace. He took responsibility for his pain and used it as fuel to become better. His ex refused to accept accountability and stayed stuck. One grew, the other stagnated. Life didn't favor one over the other. It simply rewarded the one who learned from failure instead of blaming others for it. The lesson is universal. The moment you stop blaming the world and start owning your part, real progress begins. When Rubi Rose and others promote ideas like leading with money, it highlights a cultural confusion between value and validation. Yes, money matters, but it should never define worth. That mentality may attract attention, but it doesn't create meaningful connection. It draws people who see you as a product, not a partner. And when the money dries up, so does the loyalty. Eventually, everyone faces the same truth. What you build on shaky foundations will collapse. When relationships are built on ego, lust, or materialism, they can't survive the test of time. Accountability and humility, on the other hand, create the kind of strength that lasts decades. That's why people like the firefighter end up with peace while others remain trapped in chaos. So, maybe it's time for some honest reflection. If you're constantly blaming others for your unhappiness, you're giving them control over your life. Taking responsibility isn't punishment, it's empowerment. It's the first step toward freedom. At the end of the day, that's just the reality of life. Choices define outcomes. Accountability builds character. Shortcuts lead nowhere. And no amount of money, clout, or attention can replace the fulfillment that comes from living with purpose and integrity. What do you think? It's your boy OSHA Duke Jackson, back again with another episode of the Celebrity Junk. Appreciate you for tuning in. Don't forget to hit that bell, stay focused, and keep it real. We're out.